Welcome to the Talking Cars program here on your favorite cable channel. And today we're going to be talking about the all-new 2014 Jeep Wrangler. Is it as good as what everybody's talking about? Wait and see. Also, we're going to show you about a little bit of headlight cleaning. You've seen all these wipe things on television. Do they really work? Stay tuned. You're in for a big surprise because a lot of people have tried to do that themselves at home. We're going to show you how you actually can do it at home and how to make it last. One of the biggest problems we're having today is headlights start to get cloudy because they are made of space-age plastic. In the old days, we used to have glass-domed headlights. We never had this problem. This has been around for many years. And yes, you have seen some of the products on TV. Do they work? They work as good as a little bit of pledge will work. It's just nothing but silicone. We're going to show you today how to do it and how to do it right. But you still have to go back once a month and just put a little wax or protectant on the headlight bezels themselves. Again, these are made out of space-age material that we call plastic. Once we're all done, I'm going to repeat it a couple of times, you need to put a protectant on it. If you don't, what's going to happen, we're going to run into the same condition again, the fogginess. What we're going to do is we're going to take this off. And believe me, there is no spray that is going to do that. It's going to require a little bit of sanding with a little bit of water. We're going to start off with the 1000 grit. That's how much grit is in there. It's like when you want to file your fingernails, you have a coarse part of the little board, then you have a fine part. We're going to go with the coarse part of the board to begin with, and then we'll go with the 3000, which, by the way, is what body shops use when they prep a car before they paint it, or after it's painted, they'll use 3, 4, 5, even 6,000 grit sandpaper, and then use compound to get rid of all the scratches and bring back the luster. We're also going to use a form of compound, and what this is, it's a little bit of gritty stuff, and it's like a compound you use for your automobile for the paint finish. Then when it's all said and done, we're going to use a little protectant. And all this is going to put a little bit of a protection coating, just like you'd put maybe like clear fingernail polish on your fingernails if you happen to be using fingernail polish. But we're going to show you how it's done, and it's best to have a little electric drill or a battery-operated drill. That way there you can add to the buffing of it. And we're going to start with the 1000 grit paper, and then we're going to follow it with a 3000 grit paper, and finally, we will use the polishing compound, then the protectant. You're going to like this. And this is something you can do at home. Did I mention you want to use a little bit of water? Yeah, you need a little bit of water. That makes a big difference. And this is the same thing they do when they wet sand a car in the body shop. They always put the sandpaper in a little water. That helps move the paper around easier, and it also gets rid of some of the grit that comes off the headlights. As you can see, the film is starting to come off very, very, very quickly. These headlights are not in real bad shape. You hear that squeak? Well, we need more water. The water is a big agent, believe it or not, when you're doing something like this. Without the water, we wouldn't be able to glide as freely as we're gliding. Now, on some headlights, if the problem is inside the bezel and it's got into the plastic chrome, that's right, plastic chrome, this is not going to help you at all. You're going to have to replace the headlight itself. There are many companies out there that sell aftermarket headlights. The aftermarket headlights work pretty good, and a lot of them have a lifetime or at least a 1-year warranty, depending on the brand. Okay, that's all it takes with the 3000. With the 1000 rather. Now we're going to go to the 3000, which is very, very, very smooth. Dunk it in some water, and again, we go back to doing the same thing we were doing. It really doesn't take a whole lot of time, but it really makes a big, big difference. They also sell headlight bulb replacements that you can get from Pia and Sylvania, and those cost probably about 35 or 40 bucks a piece, and they make a very big difference. It's a very white light that you'll get illuminating from the vehicle, not the lights that come from the factory. Now we just wipe that off. And you can see that it's starting to show some shine, and we still have a little bit of line left there because these headlights must have been sitting in the sun for quite a while. A trusty old drill with the buffer pad, by the way, that comes with it. When you buy the kit, it comes with everything but the drill. The next step is the scratch remover. This stuff works pretty good, and it does. Again, it makes a big difference. When we're putting this on, you're going to see that the light is going to look a lot dimmer, and it's going to look kind of cloudy till we wipe it off and then put the final protectant on there. And by the way, if you get any of this compound on the vehicle, it wipes right off. It doesn't cause it any problem. If you want to use a high-speed drill, you have to be very careful that you don't burn the plastic. Remember, all it is plastic, and you can feel it's even a little warm from this little inexpensive drill. As you can see, it's a night and day difference. And the young lady that's going to be driving this car, especially at night, because she does do a lot of night driving, she goes to school and things like that, maybe a couple of kids she has to pick up from soccer and that kind of thing, you really need to see where you're going. But as you can see now, this is really, really bright and clear. Now, if we send this car out like this, a week later, it's going to be back. We need to put the protectant on it. It's kind of like, remember the old Sea and Ski commercials you used to see on television? What we're going to do here is we're going to put some Sea and Ski, just like you would put, I guess, sun lotion on to protect your skin from the ultraviolet rays. So it comes, and by the way, it comes with these nice little terry cloths, and it comes with everything you need, except the drill. As you can see, it doesn't take long to do. Some vehicles may require doing it 2 times. You may have to do a double application. Well, there you have one headlight in a matter of minutes. The other thing, if you happen to own a Jeep Wrangler, like we're going to show you a little later on, with plastic windows, it works on plastic windows and Jeep Wranglers, even your back convertible top. Yes, and if you have plexiglass at home, yeah, it works on that too. Well, now we've got the headlights all cleaned up. Remember, I know it's redundant, you must spend a little time every month with a little bit of regular car polish, put the polish on, let it dry to a haze, wipe it off. Okay, so are we done? Well, maybe. How about we just take a look underneath the hood real quick for a couple of things that you need to check on a regular basis when you don't get it into the oil change company or whatever, and it could save you a breakdown on the highway. What about those windshield squirters? Do they still work? Better yet, how about those wipers? Are they like chatter when they go up and down? We'll talk about that as well. Right now we're going to pull the hood and just do a once around underneath the hood. Most vehicles have a little latch underneath the dashboard that you pull, unless it's like a Geo Tracker or something that's underneath the glove compartment. But for the most part, they're underneath the driver's side area. You pull the hood release, it should go click like this did. Then you have to say, where is the little hood latch? Oh, there it is. Some cars have a little gas strut on each side. Some cars have a hood prop like this car here. And we take a quick look under this hood here. As you can see, the owner of this car works a lot of hours. Either she or he very seldom opens the hood. Take a quick look around, leaves. No, they don't belong underneath the hood, because what happens with the leaves, they get caught into the ventilation area here for the heating system. They get sucked in, they go down into the interior of the car to what they call a heater box. They get clogged up in what they call a cabin filter. So we're going to get rid of all of these leaves, and we're going to take a look around. As you look around underneath the hood, you see some corrosion on the battery and battery terminal area. That needs to be cleaned off with space-age solvent called water. That's all you need to do. A little water, a little Coca-Cola or Pepsi, if you like Pepsi better. Pour a little on, let it set a couple of minutes, then just a little water. It's not going to hurt anything to wash it off. This car is also equipped with a remote car starter. What does that mean? That means that you want to go back in the car and get the keys out of the car before you do anything. Why? Well, What about if someone gets in the car and pushes the button by mistake? Or what about if the button falls on the floor? It could start the car, and if your fingers are in there, wow, you could be in trouble. So I'm going to do the smart thing, get the keys out of the car. Okay, so now we have the keys out of the car, and we're going to take a look around under the car. So we know we have to clean all the leaves and debris out from underneath the hood. Then we're going to take a look around. We'll get maybe a little water, that's space age water, distilled water, no, it doesn't matter, any kind of water, and we'll pour it all over the battery terminals in the area, and we'll show you this. This battery may be good or may be original. We'll check that too. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to clean up this under the hood area, and then we're going to run a couple little tests. That's very, very important. We'll look at the engine oil, which is nicely identified by a little yellow stick right here, and it's stuck in there. It hasn't been probably pulled out for a while. So we may have to have a conversation with the owner of this car that you need to pay attention to what's underneath the hood. What you'll notice now is all that white stuff is all gone, all that corrosive acid buildup, and that is from the battery, which normally would spew a little bit of acid and fumes out. The fumes are, very, very caustic, and they are very explosive. So now we've got them out of the way, and we're going to end up putting a little bit of protectant on the battery terminals as soon as the water dries. Next thing we're going to do is take a look at the engine oil. The engine oil is pretty clean. This car right now is down actually about 1 full quart of oil. Check it one more time. The way you want to check oil is you want to have the engine operating temperature, and you want to shut the car off. Wait about 60 seconds. We're down about 1 quart of oil, and we're very, very clean. Because 1 quart of oil is not unusual. Remember, today's automobile engines run at a very high temperature, and the oil that we're using is very, very thin, and it helps lubricate everything in the car, including going out the exhaust. Another area that people can look at themselves that's very much overlooked is a transmission dipstick. The transmission fluid should be red and up to color and up to the proper level. And this car has got a fabulous color red transmission fluid, and it is right where it needs to be. So she did good on this one. Take a look around. The coolant is right where it needs to be, and we'll take a minute and we'll talk a little bit about engine coolant. Engine coolant is something that every car has except the old air-cooled Volkswagen Bugs. That was back, wow, when I was probably just a youngster, back in the 60s. But today's cars use ethylene glycol, also known as antifreeze. Can we put any kind of antifreeze in this 2008, 208 Toyota? Absolutely not. You need a specific antifreeze, or some of the new companies that are out there today, and the old companies, they have a universal antifreeze that is applicable to just about 90% of the vehicles that are out there. Some of the exceptions are Ford products, where you need to use a special type antifreeze. Some of the Honda antifreezes are blue. This Toyota happens to be pink. Some are also red. And Ford has a very yellowish color, which is very similar to the color antifreeze for the universal. All right, so you really want to use the correct universal antifreeze or the proper antifreeze that is for the vehicle. No, you can't put that RV antifreeze that you have laying around in your house. No, you can't put that old green antifreeze that you have laying around in your house. That stuff, it doesn't work. And as we move on, we'll talk a little bit about engine oil. Oh, you got a quart of oil from 1925? No, you can't put that in the car. You can't even put a quart of oil from 1995 in this 2008 Corolla, because it will not work properly. It won't lubricate, and it could set a check engine light. We talked a little bit about the antifreeze. Most people will go right to the overflow tank, and on this car, the overflow tank is down probably about 1 inch, which is probably about a pint of coolant, which is not a problem. When she goes in for the oil change, we would hope that the technician or whoever's working in the car would bring it up to its proper level. Another thing that you need to check only when the engine is cold is you can actually push down and pull the radiator cap off and take a look inside. And as we look in here, you can see it's right up to the level it's supposed to be. Windshield washer solvent, which would be right here, that's another fine topic. Another favorite subject of mine is windshield washer solvent. Oh, come on, 99 cents a gallon on sale down at your local food store. Well, maybe. Do you realize there are multiple types of windshield washer fluid out there in the market and multiple brands? We have blue, we have orange, and we have purple for the most part. There are a few other colors, but who's counting? Well, the big difference is that the blue stuff, which has been around for years, is maybe $1 or $2 a gallon. The other products are higher in price, such as the orange stuff. I think it's made by Rain-X. It could be $4 to $6 a gallon. Wow, that's a lot of money. Well, what's a martini cost today? The big difference is the chemical additives that are in the windshield washer fluid. What I use personally is the orange stuff. Why? Because it's more expensive? No, because it has Rain-X built into it, and it also lubricates the windshield wipers. Well, how can a liquid, while it's cleaning, lubricate the windshield wipers as they're going back and forth? The chemicals that are put into the washer fluid are that much better that it eliminates the chatter. You know what I'm talking about, the chatter when the wipers go back and forth. That helps eliminate it. Plus, it helps to, I hate to say this, de-ice the windshield on cold mornings here in New England. Remember we cleaned that battery? Remember how kind of gunky it looked? Yeah. Well, it looks really clean now, but is the battery going to hold up for the next year? Is it going to hold up next week? Well, let's test it and find out. Over the years, battery testers, we used to call them toasters. Now they're called continuity testers. So basically, we've cleaned the cables. We're going to hook up our battery tester right to the battery cables. And what we're going to do is we're going to find out how many CCA, what could that stand for? Cold cranking amps? You got it. Okay. So on our particular Toyota here, this battery is good for 390 cold cranking amps. And what we're going to do is we're going to just check this battery real quick. And as you can see, we got 375 or 400. Well, I think 400 is closer than the 375 or 390 than 375 is. So we're going to just connect it up and we're going to push the magic button and test the battery. This battery is very close to a full charge, 12.68 volts rather, and the battery checks out good. That's wonderful. Now just to show you that this battery tester does work, we're going to release the cable connection in a minute and we're going to put it back on. And we'll test this battery at 800 cold cranking amps, which is what's in a lot of the larger cars and luxury cars and what we call luxury liners. And we'll run a test on the battery at 800 cold cranking amps. At 800 cold cranking amps, it tested bad. Do we have to worry about that? No, because the battery's rating is only for 390. Okay, remember the gross-looking battery cables that we have? We have some battery protectant here, which we're going to put on, and this will prevent the corrosion from coming back again on this vehicle. Anywhere where there's bare metal, even on the battery hold down, we're going to put a little bit of this protectant over the bare metal spots, and that'll prevent the corrosion from building up in the future. And while I happen to be looking underneath the hood, I see the windshield washer hose just hanging around here. There's nothing connected to it. Do we need to buy a new windshield washer hose or a new assembly? Well, someone has used magical miracle tape on it, but it doesn't work. What we have here is a space-age plastic zip tie that we're just going to go right around the hanger, and this will take care of the problem of this windshield washer hose falling down onto the motor. Okay, so we're going to go like this, we're going to go like that. They've already got some red tape there as well. Did we leave that hanging like that? No, because it looks kind of bad. With this being done and that being said, the oil level we've topped off, we've cleaned the battery connections, we've checked the battery, we even looked at the serpentine fan belt, which really we can't show you by camera because it's stuffed way in there. All the fluids now are topped off. And this car will be ready to go on its maiden voyage again this afternoon. There is one last fly in the ointment. When I drove this car in for the first time, I found the brake pedal to be a bit on the low side. What are we going to do about it? In our next segment, we're going to pull the wheels and tires and see why. Well, as I told you, we were going to take a look at a new vehicle, and it happens to be the Jeep, but it's not just any Jeep Wrangler, it's the Rubicon. What's it made for? The truth? Not for me. Do I like it? If I was going four-wheeling or off-roading all the time, it would be fabulous. I would like it even better if it had a less aggressive tire, not as aggressive as these tires are. This vehicle is made for going off-road and having a lot of fun. Is it good on the street? Does it have good road manners? Well, there's a little bit of noise to these big BF Goodrich tires. They're very knobby and very grabby. They'd be great on the snow, great in the mud, great for going off-roading. But you know what? For me, driving around the cities and the towns of where we live on the asphalt that we drive on, this vehicle, the Rubicon, would be a great vehicle if we could just get rid of these tires and wheels, or at least the tires. These are an LT tire. LT stands for light truck. If it had P metric, P stands for passenger. It would be a whole lot smoother. With all that said, I'm done beating it up. It still is a fun vehicle to drive. Heated seats in a Jeep, you got it. Remember, Jeep has been around for a long time. These Wranglers, you know, were basically made for the military years and years ago. Now they have brought it to being driven by a lot of people. Young people like them, old people like them. Women love them because you're sitting up high, easy to maneuver, and the gas mileage is pretty good. Air conditioning, you got it. How about this soft top? This used to be the noisiest vehicle, or one of the noisiest vehicles on the road. Now with this soft top being insulated, and you can flip it back in a nice sunny day without going through the hassle of unzipping and taking it down, it's very quiet. I would recommend the hardtop for New England. V6 powered, plenty of power, 5-speed automatic transmission. Where's the clutch? Thank goodness they didn't give me a stick shift. 4-wheel drive, you can pull it in. Now, we talked about going off-roading. There are a couple of buttons to go off-roading. Yes, there is. You lock the differential with the push of the button, and you can release the sway bars so the vehicle can really maneuver over the rocks and do the rock climbing and go on Jeep jamborees, what a lot of people do. Well, the inside of our Jeep Rubicon is pretty luxurious. Leather-wrapped steering wheel, navigation system that we'll put on. You'll hear a little beep, beep, beep because the door's open. All right, with a Uniconnect, so you can just about have a ball with anything you want to do as far as that. Okay, let's accept it. And here we go. We'll go to the nav screen. We got satellite radio. And where to? Let's view the map and it tells us where we are. Pretty amazing. You want to get rid of that, and we can go to the satellite radio. Yep. Jeep was never known for having quality radios, but this one does. We've got some tweeter speakers up here. We've got speakers in the back. We've got a subwoofer in the back, and we've got some large speakers on either side of the dashboard. Heated seats, you got it. We push a button, and we have even heated seats now with the automatic transmission. This is how you move it into 4-wheel drive. A nice armrest, comfy seats. Rubicon unique badging with the white stitching. If this was a Ferrari, you'd have to pay a lot more for the lettering and the white stitching. Great job, congratulations. Only things to come, and they're going to get much better as we go on in years with the Jeep production. Look for an all aluminum body Jeep within the next couple of years. Well, this is a Jeep. It says Jeep, okay? It's got a couple of hooks to pull someone out that might have just gotten stuck when you guys are out off-roading. And again, even though it's a brand new Jeep, it still looks like a Jeep. I guess if it says Jeep, it looks like a Jeep is Jeep. Space age material, don't have to worry about the old rotted fenders that all the other Wranglers had. This is made out of plastic. 24 valve V6, no more 4 cylinders, no more straight inline 6 cylinders. 5-speed automatic transmission. This thing is ready to play, to work. Go for a ride. Again, the tires that you saw, that's the only thing I'm a little bit on the fence about. It's not for me for driving every day on the road. But we're going to take this, speaking on the road, we're going to take this on the road and go for a ride. Here we go. We're going to take a quick ride on Route 28 in our 2014 Jeep Rubicon. Automatic transmission, the power door locks automatically lock once you get up to about 7 miles an hour. And you'll find, oops, I hear a beep, beep, beep. Someone didn't put their seatbelt on, so we have to do that. Do you realize that most accidents happen within 10 miles of where you live? So again, the Jeep is pretty good to go. It's a little bit rough. It's not really bad. You know, again, there's a little bit of tire noise that you may or may not be able to pick up as we move. The handling is absolutely phenomenal, even with the big, as I call them, fat mud tires. And it does like to go off-road. The handling, again, you turn the wheel, it goes where you want to go. Going over bumps, unlike the old Jeeps, you're not bouncing around like an old Ford Bronco. And we're going to go off a curb right now, and you'll be able to see us. Here we go. Not bad for going off a 1-foot curb in this Jeep Rubicon. Again, it's a pretty smooth vehicle with the exception of the tires. I know, well, you'll get off the tire kick, but that's what it's all about. And you can hear a little bit of tire noise. Well, I can hear it. You may not be able to at home because of the camera. The acoustics of the car is very, very well. And it's very quiet, other than a little bit of tire noise. The audio system, as you see here, very nice. Would you like to hear that song again? What? Replay? Yes, you can actually replay the song you just heard again. And now we just went back to being live, and it happened to be Huey Lewis in the News. And again, the audio system is very, very good. My heated seat, that works fine. The passenger heated seat works good. Here's a couple of bumps for you. And again, it does what it has to do. Well, we took you for a little ride in our 2014 Wrangler, the Rubicon edition, trail rated, which we just showed you just going over a little bit of a hill, how it can go. You can really do crazy stuff with these vehicles. Now, you'll notice also to get in and out, this is a step bar. I don't know who's going to step on it, not I. It'd be nicer if it was down here, but then you would lose the ability of being able to go over a big mound like we just did. Anyway, if you have any questions on the program we've done today, you can always get in touch with LakeCAM.tv and we'll get back to you. I'm Junior D'Amato.